All right, good morning, everyone. Hello, and welcome to another session of 30 Minutes With. This is Downtown Spokane's recurring webinar series in which we bring to you local industry experts and community leaders to talk about some of the more pressing topics of the day. My name is Kevin Campbell. I'm the Business Relations Coordinator for the Downtown Spokane Partnership and Business Improvement District. And today I have the pleasure of introducing our featured presenter, Cyndi Donahue. Cyndi is the Community Engagement Director for Ignite Northwest, and today she's going to be talking to us about that organization and some of the different programs and resources that Ignite offers to help startups and new business owners here locally in Spokane. So in a moment, I'll pass things over to Cyndi. If you have any questions, feel free to just put them into the chat box, and we'll queue them up there. And then after the prepared presentation portion of things, we can also open things up to a Q&A with the remaining time to ask any questions you might have for Cyndi then. So I'll also note that we do record these sessions and we post them online, so you'll be able to reference this content as well as all of the sessions that we've done in the past on our YouTube channel at Downtown Spokane. So with that, I'll go ahead and turn things over to Cyndi. Cyndi, thank you so much for being here with us today. We appreciate you coming on. We're excited to hear from you. And if you're ready, go ahead and take it away.
Thank you, Kevin. I'm so happy to be able to talk about Ignite and to always partner with the Downtown Spokane Partnership. You guys do great things for our city and our county, so thank you for all that you've got going on. I think this is a great way for citizens in our area to know what's going on now that things are a little different here with COVID. So I'll go ahead and screen share and talk about Ignite. So this is our why. So this is Ignite's why we exist. We are an economic development organization that's a nonprofit, and we are dedicated to creating jobs in our area. And the way that we do that is by funding entrepreneurs. So if you had an idea for a widget and we funded you or helped you find funding, then you create a company, which then creates jobs. We also have enlightening programs as well as mentorship that helps entrepreneurs and startups to grow, and again, creating more jobs. And then we also attract. So we're trying to bring more talent to our area, new companies to our area that are in this kind of explosively growing area. And I will point out to you on here this part about explosively growing companies. So Ignite does not work with lifestyle companies, which are really important businesses that are local, that will stay local, like a new coffee shop or a restaurant or a clothing store. Those are kind of outside of our realm. And our lane is really technical and product companies that can be based here in Spokane or Coeur d'Alene and Sandpoint, and then grow beyond our area. So having jobs based here, but the companies and startups that can scale up really quickly and be explosively growing. So that's kind of the delineation between our area and others. And if you're wanting to have a question, or if you had a question along the way, please feel free to type in the chat or raise your hand here. So one of the things that I mentioned that Ignite does is funding. So we have the Ignite loan funds. One's called the Technology Growth Fund. The other is called the Emerging Growth Fund. And you can see here what those are for. So if you are an entrepreneur and you have a startup and you're not quite profitable yet, you need a few years in order for the bank to give you a loan, you're kind of in that in-between phase. And so we have loans that can help startups go from just the initial product up to being more profitable. And so we have loaned out almost $8 million now, $7.9 million of capital to 28 emerging companies here in our area. And we cover more than Spokane. We actually cover the 10 eastern counties of Spokane and the 5 northern counties of Idaho. And you can see here the sectors that we cover. So that's kind of our funding mechanism. And those are for scalable companies. In the enlightening area, those are some of the programs that we put on. Our kind of premier program that we put on is called Ignite Talks. Those typically happen in person at the steam plant rooftop. And we have entrepreneurs and investors that kind of explain and show what's possible. So we talk to them about their kind of progress and their story of their company or what they are kind of experts in. And then the audience has the opportunity to ask them questions. So that's been a great program for us, and those will continue in 2022. And then another program we have is called Meet the Investor. And that's a chance for entrepreneurs and emerging startups to really get to know venture capital companies here in the Pacific Northwest. So those tend to be by Zoom. You can see here we just had Greg Gottesman with our Meet the Investor in October. And he is interesting because he co-founded Rover.com. He is also the co-founder of Pioneer Square Labs, which is located in Seattle, and they invest in companies here. So Meet the Investor is a great opportunity for entrepreneurs to know what to kind of be aware of and to meet other venture capital and private equity firms so that they're ready when the time comes. So those are a few of our programs. We also have something called Lofty Lunches and some other programs along the way. Any questions? If you have any questions, please feel free to put those in the chat. Ignite also thinks it's really important to mentor. So we have an amazing proprietary network of mentors that are available to help startups and to help entrepreneurs along their journey, so that if they have a specific area of, let's say they're in the grocery area or they're in e-commerce, then we have different mentors that we can connect them with. And that way they get good advice to help them along the way. Tom Simpson is our CEO, and he also puts on office hours. So that's happening this morning right now, in fact. And he meets with entrepreneurs and hears about maybe their new idea for a company, possibly their existing company that's here, that there maybe have some roadblocks or some struggles that they need to get over. So Tom puts on office hours and just meets with different entrepreneurs and gives them advice. And then again, I mentioned that we have our Ignite Loft, which is where I'm sitting right now. It's located at 518 West Riverside in downtown Spokane. And the Loft is for entrepreneurs and startups to launch. We're full right now. We have about 8 or 9 desks that are available for entrepreneurs. And that way they have an organic opportunity to work with the Ignite team and to meet members of our community, because it is a really tight-knit community here in the ecosystem for entrepreneurs and startups. Another thing that Ignite does, our 3-person team, we work on some economic development. And that's just really trying to help our economy grow and create more jobs, as I mentioned earlier. So the other east side is our social media series that has real fun factoids and interesting things about living, working, and playing here in Spokane, Coeur d'Alene, and in Sandpoint. And so this one talks about that there are more medical students here now in Spokane than there are in Seattle. And we have lots of these fun facts about Riverfront Park and about Coeur d'Alene Golf Resort, all kinds of fun facts that come out. So that's a social media series. And its purpose really is just to promote this as the best place to live. And then ignitebatch.works is our jobs platform. So part of attracting is attracting talent to our area from other areas to move here, and hopefully companies as well that want to be attracted to what we have to offer. So if you are looking for a job, you can go on ignitematch.works and find opportunities for technical and managerial positions that are here at very cool, dynamic, innovative companies like Continuous Composites, all kinds of fun, cool companies, Safeguard Equipment, which is in Post Falls, Spiceology, that's located right here. And if you are one of those companies that's looking for someone in a technical or managerial position, you can also post a job, and all of it's free. So there's no cost because we are a nonprofit economic development organization. We just do this to help our economy grow and to help the companies that we work with to find great talent. So that's an opportunity for anyone to use. Ignite interviews is something that I started doing with more local innovators. So this one was with John Bryan at No Lie Brewery. I also had the extreme pleasure of interviewing Ben Joyce from Ben Joyce Studios, the artist here. So you can find all of these on our website, and I put the link there in the chat. So those are local innovators, maybe chefs. Andy Johnston of Johnston Engineering. We just had an interview that's going to come out about how he makes all the prototypes for a lot of the startups that are here in our area. Oh, there's a question, I think.
Oh, I was just repasting those links, Cindy,
oh,
so everyone had them.
Cool, thank you. So the Ignite interviews, those come out about once a month, and you can find those on the website and watch those. They're kind of fun conversations, only about 15 or 20 minutes each. And then Ignite Spotlight are spotlights on some of these tech companies that I was mentioning, or these explosively growing companies that are in our region. And those are to highlight the amazing companies that are here that a lot of people don't realize. And, there's Coachava in Sandpoint. There's incredible companies. This one's with Limelight here in downtown Spokane that are doing great things and creating jobs and just have really cool products and services. And so we spotlight those in these 2 to 3 minute videos. And then we put those out. So again, we're just kind of promoting Spokane and Coeur d'Alene and Sandpoint, that whole region, as the place to live, work, and play at some of these very cool, really innovative companies. So those can be found on our YouTube page or also on our website. In terms of events, we have 2 marquee events that we put on, one each part of the year. Sparks Weekend is an opportunity for someone, if they had an idea for a startup or an idea for a new company, you can come and pitch that. So in the beginning, we'll have 60-second elevator pitches from anyone that wants to have kind of pitch their idea for a new product or service. And then 10 of those will be chosen by the audience and form teams. And over the course of a weekend, companies will be formed. And we'll have experts in technology, in marketing, in business, and finance, and they'll all work together on these teams to form companies. And then at the end, the judges that we have for Sparks Weekend will announce the winner. And that company, that newly formed entity, will have the opportunity to win a $50,000 investment to really start the new company here in Spokane. So it'll be a really fun weekend. And that's been moved because of COVID to April 29th to May 1st. And then the 25+5 awards is something that Tom Simpson, our CEO, started a few years ago. And that's really just highlighting all these really cool companies that exist here, all these explosively growing companies. And so it's a celebration of those. That next 25+5 awards is happening February 23rd, and it'll be open to the public to come and kind of hear about all the cool companies. Last year, we had awards for the coolest company culture that went to Safeguard Equipment, the most likely to hit $100 million in revenue in the next 10 years, and that was Spiceology. And then also coolest new technology, and that went to continuous composites. So we'll have awards that we give out for this year as well. And that should be a really fun evening event that's coming up in February. So that's really all that I had to present on. Ignite does quite a few things in terms of funding startups and entrepreneurs, of attracting companies and talent to our area, mentoring entrepreneurs and startups, and also putting on these cool programs and events in order to not just educate entrepreneurs, but also our community to celebrate and to support the companies that are here as they continue to grow. So these are some ways you can connect with us. Again, we did put the links into the chat, so you're welcome to click on any of those. You could join our newsletter that comes out once a quarter, or attend any of the events that we have. And you're also welcome to reach out to me later by email if you have any questions after the Zoom. So with that, I'll maybe bring it back to Kevin, and I'll just leave this up for a moment longer. And if you had any questions that you wanted to ask.
Yeah, thanks, Cyndi, so much. That was great. We always love hearing about your organization doing fantastic work. Now is a good time if you'd like to take yourself off mute or enter any questions into the chat box. Cyndi will take those now. Just to get us kind of kicked off, Cyndi, would you mind diving a little deeper into talking about some of the funding opportunities that Ignite works with, and what the process, what sort of requisites there may be, or who would be able to take advantage of those opportunities?
Yeah, sure. So as I mentioned, we have the Ignite loan funds. So that's Ignite's loan funds that we have. And those are for, like I mentioned, companies. Let's say that you had kind of gone through your friends and family money, maybe you raised a little bit of money, but you haven't, maybe you have a minimal viable product, maybe even started some sales, or but you're looking to expand and grow. You need equipment, you need space, you need to hire. So it's working capital that you need in order to become bankable. So it's before you reach the point where a bank will fund you, but you really feel passionate about what you've started and you feel like it will be successful. And those loans range from about $100,000 up to about $400,000 to really get a startup going. And then in addition to that, there's also the Spokane Angel Alliance here. It's an entity that's been around for about 12 years. Now our CEO, Tom Simpson, is also the president of the Spokane Angel Alliance, has been for a while. And those are angel investors. So it's a network of angel investors that meet 6 times a year and hear pitches. So if an entrepreneur or startup wanted to pitch for funding, though that money is a little bit bigger. So let's say that would go from $500,000 to $4 or $5 million or more. And that's really decided upon by the members of the Spokane Angel Alliance if they want to invest. So those are two opportunities. And then also just once someone has surpassed or a startup has surpassed that need for funding, their seed funding, then they would probably want to be introduced to some of the VCs that we have featured in our Meet the Investor series that I mentioned. And so then we would kind of make introductions and try to help them get funding on a bigger scale. So that's kind of the progression. So they'd start out, get some pre-seed, seed funding, and then all the way up to being introduced to VCs.
Excellent, thanks for that. And then I'm just kind of curious as well, have you noticed any sort of trends or changes in kind of the startups and new businesses you've seen and worked with kind of since the shutdown of last year? Have there been any kind of new opportunities or any kind of changes in what's been working or particular, avenues of success that people are finding?
I think that, the success comes when there's a problem that you solve, right? Either, there's two ways to have a great startup that I've seen and been learning from being with Ignite. And those are that there's a problem that you see. Let's say you have a specific job, and in your job, you see there's something over and over again that's not working and you have a better solution. So either taking something and solving a problem, or taking something that exists, a product or service, and seeing a completely different way of coming at it. And so doing something better than's ever existed before. But I think even with the shutdown and then the reopening happening, I think there's been a pretty steady flow of explosively growing or scalable companies that have either been starting here in our area because people have amazing ideas and amazing opportunities for growth here. I think that being located in Spokane County or Coeur d'Alene, Sandpoint, we are the place to be now. We're the fifth largest housing market here in Spokane and the first in Coeur d'Alene. So I think more talent, more entrepreneurs, more startups are starting to come in, and that's just sparking more startups and more talent that's ready to launch something really cool.
Excellent, thanks. So again, if anyone does have any questions, please feel free to jump in and unmute yourself. Another one I'd like to ask Cyndi, though, is just a little bit more about the mentorship programs that Ignite helps facilitate. How, kind of on both ends, how can people get involved with those mentorships, but also other opportunities to be a mentor, say if someone feels established enough to be able to help do that?
Yeah, that does happen quite often. There's, like I mentioned, so many people are moving here from everywhere, from California, New York, everywhere, that we are having more and more people that want to be mentors. So I would just say, reach out to us by email and let me know, and then we can try to connect you in. And then also office hours with Tom is a great opportunity to be able to sit down with Tom. He is so experienced and has been doing entrepreneurs and startups for so long that he's a great person to talk to. So to me, I really believe that office hours is one of the best opportunities for mentorship that we have to be taken advantage of. And again, people would just find that on our calendar and then just send an email and say, this is my idea, this is my executive summary, here's my pitch deck, and this is my idea, and reach out and schedule time with Tom. So he does those most months, I would say, and there's always an opportunity to try to meet with him or one of our mentors through just by emailing us and reaching out and letting us know the idea or the company that someone has. But I think being in the Loft too, the Loft is located here at 518 West Riverside, and it's just a cool place. It's a cool place to be in general. It's here, I'm going to go ahead and show it off. So this is Indaba down below, and then this is the Loft with people meeting here. So there are some pretty cool opportunities just to meet people that happen to be here and that are investors or community leaders or politicians that are always in this building. So Ignite Loft is also a pretty cool opportunity to just get involved and come by and tour.
Yeah, that's great. Those spaces like that, I think, are fantastic, and we certainly hope that I'm glad to hear that you're currently full, and we kind of, in a good way, hope to keep that up.
Yeah, I just realized actually there's one that's become available in November. So November 1st, I'll have one desk open.
Okay, perfect. Glad to help get the word out.
Yeah, so I'm always meeting with entrepreneurs and startups that might be interested in coming into the Loft, and then when the space becomes available, then we can open that up too.
Fantastic. And so what, from a very general sort of perspective of things, but what would you kind of say to someone who's looking at making their first startup or kind of getting to the world of being an entrepreneur? What sort of initial barriers would you kind of have any advice for, or what sort of resources, and opportunities specifically for just even convincing someone to take the leap, can you kind of help provide?
Yeah, it is a leap, right? I mean, to be an entrepreneur, you have to have grit. You have to not only have passion for your idea and really believe in it, but think about it in the long haul because it takes a lot of work and a lot of hours and determination to become successful. I think there's a lot of great ideas out there, but to get over the hump of finding initial funding, getting to your first sales, getting over all the roadblocks that come along the way. So I think just knowing that you need to have the grit and the determination to succeed, and have that in you. And the other thing I'd say is to find support. So finding mentors, support in your family too, support from your partner, from your family that you are gonna be doing this and be successful. But in a business side, to reach out, to Ignite, to Tom through office hours, or finding mentors in your life that will help you be successful. And I think that the funding is available if there's an entrepreneur that's ready, that has the idea, that has a business plan, that knows their market, that has a scalable solution to a problem. I think the funding is there. It's just a matter of getting to that point and being ready for the money.
Yeah, and so can you tell us a little bit more about, so the Ignite interviews I think is great, and that seems like a great resource for people to kind of see what's been working and kind of hear what's been going on in the world of others who are kind of already in that world. But things like that and the lofty lunches, but can you dive into a little bit more about some of the events that Ignite puts on?
Yeah, so Lofty Lunches is something that's new. We had one so far. We had Kevin Parker, the amazing Kevin Parker from Whitworth and Dutch Brothers here, and he talked about leadership. We have Jordan Allen, who's going to come and talk about the art of fundraising. So it's really a matter of having experts here in small groups. There's maybe only 10 or 12 entrepreneurs at a time that come to Lofty Lunches for a specific topic. And they really get to know the speaker. They really have the opportunity to dive into a topic and really learn, and also to meet each other, to give you support, to know other startups and entrepreneurs that are also doing what they're doing. So those are pretty cool. We're going to have those coming again in 2022 after those two. And I'm sorry, what was the other part of your question in terms of, so you asked about Lofty Lunches and?
Oh, just any other events that
all the other events,
like welcome people out to.
Yeah, I mean, so my job as a community engagement director is really to bring people together. So if you bring together entrepreneurs that have great ideas and you add in investors that are interested in funding those enterprises, community leaders that want us to grow economically, you get a pretty cool combination of people that come together and meet. So that's what the point of having a lot of our events is to bring people together and also to promote these startups. When Tom had started as CEO at Ignite about 2.5 years ago, there was 3 companies that had raised over $10 million within like a 3 or 4 month period. And so he started asking other business leaders, do you know who these companies are? Have you heard about it? And none of them really can name 1 or 2. And so it's really trying to say, hey, look at, Continuous Composites in Coeur d'Alene just raised $17 million. Spiceology now is the product at Nordstrom and is growing like crazy. So really just Cloud Engage, which is located here in our building and has some really cool technology for connecting online. So just celebrating these companies and letting our community know that it's here, that these companies are here, they're hiring. So, if you're looking for a job, if you like to support locally, then you would know more about them. But also just knowing that we have so much innovation that's going on here. And that's how the Ignite interviews came about, because I really wanted to have a more local aspect to what we're doing. A lot of the companies that we are working with and that are scalable and explosively growing are really more known outside of Spokane. Take Caspian, which used to be known as e-tails, which some people know that story. But a lot of these companies, they deal with large entities. Another one that just started is called Treasury 4, and they work with Fortune 50, Fortune 100 finance companies. So locally, you wouldn't know about them, but it's a really cool startup that has a cool solution in the treasury area of running companies that you wouldn't even know about. So I think it's cool to have those spotlights, but the local side of having the interviews with, Chef Chad White, or, artists that are here, or people that are just doing really cool stuff. And so for just our community to know that those things are happening.
Yeah, that's great. And I love the note you kind of make about how much Spokane itself is exploding and kind of making its impact on the region and beyond. It's certainly an exciting time to be here and kind of at the epicenter of that.
Yeah, and then today Gonzaga was named #1, I think, of basketball teams. I don't know if you saw that yet. I mean, we're cool, right? Like everyone knows who we are through Gonzaga basketball. Riverfront Park is just beautiful, and we have the second largest urban waterfall in the United States here. We have skiing and lakes, and it's just a great place to live and work. So I think that the secret might be out, and we're going to have to find ways to continue to grow and grow well. So.
Yeah, and speaking of just kind of growing, can you talk just a little bit more about, maybe that's our last little topic here, but the Ignite Match, and just, because obviously I think everyone's kind of aware of how difficult it's been for so many organizations to hire recently, but can you just tell us a little bit more about that resource?
Yeah, so it's a platform, ignitematch.works. And if you are a company that's looking to hire for, not, it's not for every job, but for technical managerial type jobs, then you can post a job up there and post a position. And then what we do is we promote those across all of our social media channels. So if you had a job opening at the DSP and you posted it, then I'd repost it on our Instagram account, LinkedIn, Facebook. So we're just kind of re-promoting. So hopefully you'll find some really great opportunities for talent. And then if someone is either moving to the region, moving from San Francisco or Portland or Seattle, and they want to live here and they want to work for a cool startup or a dynamic company, they can find a position. And the same thing locally. So there's over 315 candidates already that have their profiles and their resumes posted on Ignite Match. So it's just a way of matching companies and talent together, and for just trying to have us grow and have people find great talent and cool companies.
Fantastic. Yeah, well, we're just about at time, but Cyndi, is there anything else you'd like to just tell us? I mean, I would appreciate all the information you've given us so far. We had a note from Toby Bremling that said, Cyndi, thanks for the great work you were doing to promote and champion our area. We just want to echo that because it is fantastic. And like we were just saying, it's really exciting that you're kind of helping lead this charge of making Spokane as great as it is. But anything else you'd like to lead us with?
I would just say I'm grateful, right? I'm grateful to live in this great city, in this great area, and all the amazing people that are here, all the generous community members that we have. I think I would just say, connect with Ignite, follow us on LinkedIn or Instagram, just be part of our community, because then you'll know what's going on in the startup community and know about all the cool technology that's happening, all the cool ideas that are here.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much. We, again, appreciate so much you taking the time to come and talk with us. We look forward to doing any sort of work we can with you in the future and just helping Spokane grow like we do. And thank you for everyone watching. If you're on the YouTube channel right now, please keep in touch with that, as we'll be posting future sessions, and you can always see what's up and coming on our website, downtownspokane.org, as well as all of the other events and everything else going on downtown, all things downtown. So thank you again to Cyndi for taking the time. We appreciate it, and hope you all have a great rest of the day.
Thank you. Thank you, Kevin.
All right, thanks.